Western military experts from leading European and American analytical centers are still in a state of shock. They cannot understand how in 4 days of fighting in the northern part of the Kharkiv region, the Russian army managed to take control of 12 settlements and forced even the most combat-ready and motivated units of the armed forces of Ukraine to flee. Moreover, the German television news program ZDF Heute has already called the lightning offensive of Russian troops in the northern part of the Kharkiv region one of the most successful military operations of the Russian army. German journalists and analysts are also confused and cannot understand how, in 4 days of active hostilities, Russian troops managed to take control of more than 200 square kilometers of the territory of the Kharkiv region. At the same time, German military experts admired the tactics of the Russian military during the offensive on the city of Vovchansk. According to German experts, the Russians acted very cunningly, advancing on the city along both banks of the Seversky Donets River. This allowed the Russian troops to secure their flanks and break into the northern and western parts of the city of Vovchansk, using only 3 battalions. At the same time, German military experts recognize that if the Russian army manages to take control of Vovchansk, then the units of the Ukrainian army located in Kupiansk will find themselves in mortal danger, since Russian troops will not only disrupt the supply of Ukrainian group, but will also be able to deliver powerful strikes on the flanks of the units of the armed forces of Ukraine, located in this city. Moreover, German experts also admitted that the successful offensive of the Russian army in the Kharkiv region could cause the loss by the armed forces of Ukraine not only of Chasiv Yar, but also of Pokrovsk and Konstantinovka. In general, reading the articles of Western experts and analysts, one gets the impression that the West is in a state of panic. The fact is that many in the West are convinced that what is happening in the northern part of the Kharkiv region is just the beginning of a larger military operation by Russian troops. Many Western experts are confident that by the end of this summer, Ukraine will lose not only Kharkiv, but also the Sumy region. Meanwhile, the head of the Kharkiv region administration, Vitaly Ganchev, officially confirmed that Russian troops had taken control of some areas of the city of Vovchansk. According to him, as of May 15, 2024, the northern and western parts of the city of Vovchansk are fully controlled by units of the Russian army. Surprisingly, the Ukrainian General Staff has not officially denied the information that part of Vovchansk is under the control of the Russian army. Moreover, the Ukrainian military even showed footage of Russian troops entering the city of Vovchansk. According to war correspondents, fighting is already underway on Gogol and Korolenko streets. At the same time, Russian troops managed to advance 2 kilometers deep into enemy territory. Commenting on the situation in Vovchansk, many Ukrainian telegram channels admitted that almost all neighborhoods in the western and eastern parts of the city are controlled by Russian troops. War correspondent Boris Razin also confirmed this information. According to him, the Russian army fully controls the northern and western parts of Vovchansk. At the same time, he noted that in the western part of the city, Russian troops are still continuing to clean the liberated territories, as some Ukrainian soldiers are still hiding in the buildings of the local kindergarten and lyceum. My friends, in general, we can say with confidence that formally the armed forces of Ukraine have already surrendered Vovchansk to the Russian army, since this city is located in a lowland, while Russian soldiers have already occupied all the heights in the northeastern and western parts of this city. In such conditions, it is impossible to defend effectively, especially against the background of an acute shortage of manpower. By the way, many journalists have noticed that there are practically no Ukrainian soldiers and officers in Vovchansk itself. Only local police officers are observed in the city, who evacuate residents. All this indicates that Vovchansk will soon come under the full control of the Russian army. Meanwhile, Ukrainian war correspondents and experts have already called the situation around Vovchansk a real national tragedy. At the same time, officers and soldiers of the 79th Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine began to express their outrage at the Ukrainian generals, who sit in their clean offices at the General Staff, and are leading the fighting. In particular, the official representative of this brigade called the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine General Sersky a bunch of curse words. According to him, General Sersky does nothing for the sake of victory, but only destroys Ukrainian soldiers, sending them to certain death. Moreover, Ukrainian war correspondent Yuri Butasov stated that in the 57th Motorized Infantry Brigade, located in Vovchansk, there were recorded cases of disobeying the orders of commanders. In particular, on May 14, the senior officer of this brigade, shutting off contact with the command, ignored the order and voluntarily abandoned his post, going to a local hotel for sleep and rest. As a result, his soldiers were left without direct communication with the command, and were destroyed on the line of combat contact by the Russian aerial bomb of the Fab family. In addition, the Ukrainian Nationalists from the 3rd Separate Airborne Assault Brigade, formed from the fighters of the nationalist AZOV regiment, again refused to comply with the order of General Sersky. As it turned out, on May 13, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine ordered the Ukrainian Nationalists to immediately move out to Vovchansk and hold this city at any cost. However, they refused to comply with this order. Moreover, even some Ukrainian nationalists have explicitly stated that Sersky is Russian, and that they are not eager to obey the Russian general. Even threats of reprisals have been sent to the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, if his ties with the Kremlin are confirmed. In general, sources in the Ukrainian General Staff note an increased number of incidents of disobedience to the Ukrainian High Military Command orders. And the number of such incidents is rapidly growing almost every day.